Alvera, from Dr. Alvera Demise, used to work for Crop and Food, who lives locally, and others did our submissions and went to the hearing. I remember Alvera specifically was on about the second part there, that broccoli and other ones can pop a little flower out below the head sometimes before it's fully developed. They can throw early flowers. So they said in their decision and their controls, we got there, we got optimum temperature. They said, all plants on initiating reproductive development should be removed to the glass house or killed, autoclaved or destroyed in some way. That's one of their photos. That's a broccoli head with them just starting to burst into flower. You can see the little bits of yellow and stuff. They're a little bit funny when they open up for a start. So that's what went there. This is their photos, ones that we clearly got through the Official Information Act. Not only that, in late 2007 when they did the application and got the controls done, and pollen of course was the big one for brassicas, because they're so promiscuous they can just mix with other brassicas nearby, either by insects or wind or other sorts of pollination. They don't stay very true to form. GE Free New Zealand appealed it to the High Court. It's the only place you could appeal the decision, and that's on points of law. So they had an appeal on points of law to that decision by Irma, happened from the end of 2007. Notice these dates: 7th of March 2008, and this is some colleagues in the experiment, and it said all plants on initiating reproductive development to be removed. Remember, they're testing for insect resistance. They didn't need them to go to full head. They could achieve what they wanted. Or take the glass house if they did want them to get pollen and to test for the next generation of seed or something. Not only that, look at the ones, this is the same row. Totally bolted. Totally bolted. You know, they're strange with the flowers, but there'll be flowers open in that. And that was while we were still at the High Court. Like if you was under an RMA, you got a consent because you wanted to build a carport or something, and your neighbour did an appeal against you, or you wanted to build a hotel or something like that, you wouldn't even put a spade in the ground until the appeal was resolved.
So
these guys just charged on. Yep.
What were they appealing? What were the words they were using at the High Court and things like that?
What we were doing is that we lost the appeal.
You lost the appeal.
We lost the appeal, but the appeal hadn't even run. And these guys planted immediately, and then broke their conditions of consent. Totally arrogant.
To not plant.
The appeal ultimately we just tried to stop the whole thing, of course. But I'm trying to think what the points. I can't remember what the points were. I think it was probably that they didn't have showed that they hadn't done a proper reflection and hadn't looked at some maybe economic effects or this or that if it went wrong, things like that. But I can't remember. GE Free New Zealand was there. I went to the appeal to some of the hearing and was assisting from the side. I was in a different role as soil and health spokesperson.
So you're telling us how these people that sort of lackadaisical approach,
Absolutely lackadaisical.
Yeah.
Saw it at Sion, and this was just the extreme. I'll carry on. That's the plot, or was. All the stuff not being used for research purposes was meant to be removed. That was some of the kale at this end of it. There's broccoli and collie further on down. It wasn't particularly big. I mean, those shots would make the rows look long, but it's just what lens do. Around the edge, you've got some other parts with a bit of red on them. They were different brassicas that were engineered, and they was meant to be some sort of buffer crop that if insects were there and flying off to another flower, they'd get it all over and done with.
They would be measuring yield. You know, they'd be measuring all those
weights and stuff like that.
Dry weight, yield, height.
There wasn't quite in an agronomic sense. They were really going for the traits.
You can imagine.
Next door,
you see what I'm saying though, don't you? I mean, there's science that would be saying, well, this is a different plant. Is it going to produce more green leaf area, more yield, more this and that? That's what.
I don't think. I think the experiment was way more simple than that. Next door, just through the fence, I've seen that happening.
Yeah.
Through one of their sliding glasshouse ones. That's clearly all that agronomic stuff. Quite often with GE, you're just going for that trait. all she was doing was testing the trait of brassicas,
Yeah.
the crime-1-AG.
Toxin, which.
Yeah, and to see whether that worked. I'm quite sure of that.
Yeah.
I think they did do some stuff. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
We've got the data. It's
Yeah.
just not what we reflected on.
Well, has anyone else got any questions?
Well, I'll carry on. There's a
Yeah.
lot more to go. So those ones they obviously yanked out, and who knows where they went. But some of them they cut off. See them just cut off here?
Yeah.
Chomp. And who knows if they left those there or not, because we weren't there. This is their photos. But what I do know is that's what I saw when I went out there. Each one of those arrows is going to brassicas that are regrown. Heaps of them. Now this is, you can see these ones, not too many holes in that. I think it's got a fair bit of BT gene in there. And meth biosecurity again, the policeman who had failed, because they should have never let this happen. And I feel for, I learned of who the inspector was. She was a friend of a flatmate of a friend. But I feel for her. I don't think she was given good guidance or whatever. But they got into good relationships. You get to know the scientists, and it's all cruisy-doozy. So we've seen all the notes and everything. What meth biosecurity, another arm of meth biosecurity, the sort of policing type role. So if you've got some out there doing the audits, but you've got another lot that do the investigations, ex-policemen and other people. But you've got the same boss at the top. They said, there's not much chance of anything getting out or anything like that, or much of the way of insect activity, because there wasn't much flowering. Well,
yeah.
It's like a bloody, a wild flower, it's a wonderland of flowers. There's all sorts in there. There's a lot of clover, and there's other little, I forget the right name for them. They're not dandelions, but it starts with H. And grasses and all sorts of things going on there. There's yarrow, and it's just, and that's what they said. That's what they said in their report. It's outrageous. These are the policemen. And they said the wind wasn't being an issue, because I said about the pollen going, it wouldn't be too much of an issue. Just over to the left of some of the pines, which should be tested, said they're GE, because they're about as old as the ones that were Rotorua, and who knows. One of them was blown over. This is Canterbury. Here we are, this is out of Lincoln. Yeah, northwest winds, pollen wouldn't go far, no more than a couple of metres. We have heaps of research that shows, papers that show it goes much further. So anyway, that's the buffer zone brassicas. Well, there's Oleracea, Brassica oleracea, Rapa and Napa. And there's this thing called, I think, Triangle of View or something, which shows how they all interbreed and interrelate. They've got seed pods on them. Did they get it from the GE ones? Did they get it from themselves? I don't know. But I asked Matt, I said, look, test the pollen or test the beehives in the area and see if we can find any in there. They wouldn't do it. There's organic properties nearby. There was the big one of Heinz Watty, if it were over the road a bit further away. There was another one over in the biological husbandry unit at Lincoln, certified organic as well. So that was the picture that got that lot going. I have a bigger slideshow on this, but I've talked long enough on it. The other one is their official picture of that piece of plant. When we went public, I think, look at the date, 22nd of December, it's getting a wee bit close to the magical holiday time. And a little bit of naughty part of me actually quite had a little bit of delight in this, because it caused a fair bit of fuss when the reporter went out with it. We told them, we got onto math, biosecurity, tried to do the right thing, say, hey look you guys, you've got flowering GE plants, you've got to do something about this. And they denied it for a start, and then they went out to have a look, and they went out on Christmas Eve, I think, pulling all these plants out. But they said to the reporter, no, couldn't see any flowering one. And he was busy writing a story, and this is what I say, they'll lie, they'll do anything to cover their butts. And he sent through that photo. Next one they had oh, right, there is one here, there's this photo, got it on the blue background, this wilted flower head. They had it all right, but they were prepared to say that they didn't. There was nothing flowering, didn't find anything. That's one of their photos of the buffer. That's what it looks like now, except there's a bit of slime on the bottom and that. The reason being, what MAF Biosecurity said to them at the end, okay, you know, this has happened. Now we've got to make sure that no adventitious, no wild seedlings come up from whatever might have happened there. So you've got to spray it. And after a period of time, months I think, you then have to cultivate it and damp it down to ideal growing conditions. If any brassicas come up, you've got to do it again, and again, and again until you don't get any brassicas coming up. So they got some brassicas coming up, and they didn't really like this particularly. And then they did a report one time that said, and ultimately they thought it was bigger this, and they got permission from MAF Biosecurity to dig it out, and they've buried it at Cape Valley. You guys know about Cape Valley, up Amberley there, Waipara. And so that's what they did. I mean, I felt a bit strange about it because I don't like a lot of poisons either, but they're having to keep them blatting it with herbicides, and they've been achieving it. Not only that, one of my just random visits, they said, look, ring up anytime you want to come and we'll let you in, but just don't go helping yourself all the time. And I continue even now to just drive in when it suits me, if the gates are opened. Because when it's opened, you can't see the sign saying you shouldn't. But in and around here, when they dug it up, they spilled some of their topsoil out there. There's brassica, and someone had been there and it had yellow dazzle, you know, around it. And I went to them and said, oh no, but it's not the variety. They just will do anything because they don't respect basically the community that's concerned about it.